this computer. Okay, all right. Okay, so to start off your account, what you're going to do is go to the button there that says My Account. And then click on Profile. Okay, and so here you've got your name, and this is where you can change your password, update your company information here. You can put your website URL, and so everybody has a website URL. It's your first name, last name, .exprealty.com. So you can put that in there, and then make sure your phone number's in there. And then down at the bottom, there's a place to add your pictures. So we got your picture in here. So you can just click on that and then click choose a photo, whatever photo you've got that you like. So just click on that and then click open. And then, yeah, just click open. And then what's cool is it'll bring up a little crop tool, and then you just slide the little square up there to get it kind of centered in there and click apply. And then the EXP logo that we have here on the company logo, click on the button that says add a logo here. So one thing I have found that works best is if you have a square version of the logo. So I made a square, and then we're going to upload that here. Just one second, go find that. There's that EXP square, and I'll save that file over here on the website too, so you can just download that to your computer and use that, because it makes your report look nice and clean. And then when you get done, click that update button down in the bottom right. And that's it. Now when you have all this information in here, now all the reports and everything will come out looking nice and clean. Okay. So that's the first thing you want to do when you set up your cmaIQ account. And if you haven't done that and you've been using cmaIQ for a while, this is a good way to have your branding look a little nicer too. So, okay, so Diana, let's go work on your comps. So first thing you're going to do to start the search is click on property and then add a property. And so you'll type in the property address here. If you type TT in that field, it should take you to Texas. Tennessee, then hit T again, and it'll take you to Texas.
Yeah.
Type TT.
I'm trying. That's the damaged hand.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Forgot about that wrist brace.
Yeah. I don't remember if it's 3 or 4. Where does it say?
So this you can get from the tax records too. I can pull it up.
I have it. I'm just
1551 KC Fort Shadow Mills. What do you know what county that's in? That's
it's in Hunt County.
Hunt? Yeah. They have a good CAD website too. You can also get it in MLS on the Realist. So I'll log into Matrix. Actually, if you want to log into Matrix on one of your other tabs, that's one of the things that I do. So just, yeah, click on the other tab at the top, like the one that says cmaIQ, click on the third one there.
I can't get to it. The little.
Oh, the Zoom thing is on top of it. Okay, we'll just open up a new one.
Okay,
and
now
then
I got
click on Netris right there. And then click on tax. Oops, you went too fast. Go back to the dashboard. Click on tax. And then click, scroll it down, and then it'll let you agree if you haven't used this before. And then click continue.
Do I need the whole address or would that be
Try
enough?
just clicking search and see if it finds it.
That would be it.
Perfect. Okay, so, and the cool thing is we have a little picture there we can save as well. So this is gonna be 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. And if it was like 2.5 baths, we still count it as 3 baths.
Okay.
So let's go back over to the cmaIQ tab, the second one. And so 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. And then hit, let's go grab that picture just so we have a picture for our report. Yeah, and right click on it and click save image as. Now you can just save it in your downloads or something. Okay, then go back to the second the first cmaIQ tab, sorry. Right.
I had it right that time.
Yeah, you did. Okay, go find that picture. There it is, Craig. Okay, and then scoot it up a little bit. Okay, well, that's fine. It's got a lot of yard. That's cool. Okay, so then scroll down and then hit submit. Okay, so the next thing you can do, if you want to, click on the button that says client over there, the first one that says client, and then add new client. So what I do most of the time, I don't always email these out directly to people. So I just have myself in there. So put yourself as the client.
Okay.
And the reason that I do that is because I like to kind of keep the reports, contained in my own space. But if we want to send them out later, we can add them as a client. But for now, we'll just put yourself as a client.
Okay. Should I put my phone number and email as well?
Yes, because you'll need that just for having that in there. And if you want to email it to yourself or something. Perfect. Click submit. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is now click on new chart. So my charts is where you have existing reports that you've already done, but we got to create a chart. This is your first time to do this. So we're going to start with new chart, and then we're going to pick property value analysis for client. And then select the property. That's the one we just added. Now, when you have a lot of properties in here, the one you added is going to be at the bottom of the list. So they have their list is like the oldest ones are first, and then the newest ones are at the bottom of the list. So you might have to just scroll down once you get a bunch. And then select a client. That's going to be you. And then say next. All right. So on this screen, you're going to put in the information again a little bit, but this time to run comps. So we're going to say single family detached. Now, this house was built in what year? I forgot. Can you click over to that realist tab?
2004.
2004. So I usually do 5 years younger and 5 years older. That's my bubble. Okay. And then scroll down. So we're going to see, because of where this is, I don't think we're going to have a lot of comps in a specific subdivision. And I tend to not do subdivisions unless there's like something specific about that subdivision, like it's a gated community or something like that. So we're going to filter down on the zip code and then the square footage. So for the square footage, do you remember what that was? It was
2210.
2210. So then what I do is I type 2210 in my calculator times 0.8 to give me 80%. So that's going to be 1768. So I'd put 1700 in there. I do 20% on either side. So I did 2210 times 0.8, 7 equals 1768 times 1.5 to get me the 20% on the other side, which comes up to 2652. So put like, 2,700. I just like to round it off to keep it easy. Okay.
I like that.
And then on the zip code, let's put the zip code in there. And then click add. That's an important thing. When you're doing either a subdivision search or a zip code search, it's really important to click add. If you don't, it won't add that filter. Now, here's where it gets kind of tricky because we're in a seller's market that is really kind of having a lot of increase in price really in just the last few months. What I have been doing, instead of using the date range for the whole last year, which is what I would do in a normal market so that I can see the seasonality and everything, I'm kind of bypassing that. And for my date range right now, I'm just using like 12/1/2020 so that I'm just having the last couple of months because it's been crazy. Normally I would use the whole year and that way I can see the seasonal data and see what's been going on. But right now we're just trying to factor in the insane seller's market. So click on the button that says search and it's going to take a couple of minutes to run. So, while that's running, just something to know is that when it comes back, we have to have a minimum of 7 closed sales in order to generate a chart. So depending on how much comes back in that zip code for this date range, that will give us some information about how much data we have and what we got to do to kind of adjust to get more data. Okay. Okay, so we finally got our results back. And oh, we only have 5 closed. Poop. So, okay, so let's do this. Let's start by decreasing our square footage, like the number on the bottom. So put like 1,600 and then put 2,800. Let's see if we get a little bit more there. And then on the year built, let's expand it by a year. So on either side, so 98 to 2010. See if we can find something there. We can search again. I think it's not going to take as long this time because it's already got some data there.
We picked
Okay.
up one.
So we picked up one more. Okay, so let's adjust it a little bit more. Let's go down on the square footage to 1,500 to 2,900. And hit search again. Normally you wouldn't have this much problem, but because we're limiting the date range, we're trying to pick up that super seller seasonal thing that we're in right now. Okay, we hit 7 close. We have enough to generate a chart. Scroll down underneath the picture of the map. There's some features here just so you know. Let's just practice using them so you see them. Can you scroll up just a little bit? So what you can do is click that button that says enable polygon. Now we're going to put the polygon around the entire search area because I don't want to eliminate anything, but I just want to show you how to use it. So, so scroll up just a little bit and then click the polygon, see where it says like 380. Click over there, like where the little 380 sign is next, no, over to the right.
Okay, well, I just clicked Farmersville. Sorry.
It's okay. Hit clear polygon. And then, yeah. And then enable polygon. Let's do it again.
Stop clicking in the thing.
You got some zoomy issues going there.
I know.
Okay. All right. So now, okay. Yeah, just move your map up a little bit so we don't lose any of those. You're going to actually on the map itself. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That worked out. Okay,
we go.
enable polygon. There you go. Now click where the little 380 road sign is. Click there
Got it.
and then go down to the 30. Click another again. And then go over to kind of where it says, almost to where it says cash. And then it's going to make a triangle, but don't freak out. So go up to where it like says 67 and that area and just click again. And then you can click again closer to the 380 and it'll keep opening and adjusting this polygon to make sure that we didn't lose any. So scroll up and make sure we didn't lose any. We should still have, oh, on the page. Okay, we still have our 17 results. Okay. Okay, we still have our 7 closed, so we're good. But that's how you would use the polygon in a normal neighborhood. You can, because like you can look in a zip code and then you can, because sometimes like some part of a zip code is like on one side of a major road, like Stacy Road or something like that. And so it can matter on that. So you don't want to necessarily limit it by zip code or by subdivisions. So you can kind of put the polygon around it to kind of bring in both sides of a road or a highway or something if you need to. So in this case, you know, we didn't necessarily need to add the polygon, but I just wanted to show you how to use it.
Cool.
Okay, then the next thing you do is click generate chart.
Should I clear polygon?
No, it's fine. Just leave it.
Okay.
It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so now we have our chart. So let's see what our data is for our potential sellers here. So scroll down. So there's some tabs there. There's a chart, analytics, the list of properties, and then it pulls together some data and then the report. So this is a chart that shows you kind of where on the graph that this property is priced. So the little house that you've got there in the middle is where cmaIQ kind of thinks it sits. That's the one that you put in.
Okay.
So the other ones on the little speckles all around it are the other houses that have sold in the area. The nice thing is you can click on each one of those. So just click on it. And then you can scroll through the pictures right there, which is pretty cool.
That's
And you can
pretty
actually
house.
see, actually, if you could click on the like 3 dots up in your browser, up underneath the X, the X to close your browser. Don't click on the X, but click on the 3 dots. On the zoom, let's make it a little smaller. That way you can see more of the page. Click, do it again. Okay, one more time. That's good. Okay, so now you can kind of see a little bit better, you know, kind of more of the page. So normally, like if you had like 10 or something, you know, or more sales that were showing up and you felt like there was some that didn't match your property, in the bottom right where it says cannot delete, there would be a delete button. So if there was something that was like a total mismatch, like, you know, it's $1 million mansion and it somehow snuck in there, that you can delete it out of there. But in this case, we need those minimum of 7 sales. So these are the properties that it pulled up. So you can kind of click on each one of those and just see, or you can just hover over them and see that they're houses or whatever. See, so that's a house. That's a house. So I know you mentioned when you were running cmaIQ, or CMA and Matrix, you were getting some mobiles in there. So one thing you would want to do if you were doing that, now that's a mobile. Now it's pending. So, and it's not the same kind of property. So I wouldn't necessarily use that as a comp because we're looking at a house with a foundation. So click on delete. Okay, that's a house. That's a house.
Okay, that's a mobile, but we have to keep
Yeah,
it.
but we're not gonna, yeah, it's not gonna let us take it out because we need the 7 sales.
And our one.
Now, what we could do if we wanted to try to take it out, we could go try to find Yeah, let's go try to find some more sales. We may have to go get some more data.
Okay, we need to take this out too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. That's an outlier. Those ones that are like well below, I mean, sometimes you get them and they're like rehab deals. You know, this is an investor special that closed, you know, for $100,000, and you're like, and the rest of the
Mhm.
houses like it are $300,000 houses.
Yeah,
So let's go edit the time and let's see if we can pick up a little bit more on the closed sales. So scroll back up. See, doesn't it look nice with your picture in there?
it is.
At the top left,
Yay.
at the top left, click modify search. And then go down to the bottom and let's add November instead of, oh, we did November. Oh, it says November 30th. Do November 1st. So we get anything that closed in November. And hit search again. And then we'll wait.
9.
Okay, cool. We got 9 results now. So we have a little bit more. So maybe we can get some of those mobile homes out. All right, so we don't need to necessarily generate the polygon, do the polygon thing, because we were just practicing with that. So let's just click on the generate chart button. Okay, so now we're gonna have to go like re-delete some of those weird outliers. So just hover over each one and see if we can get rid of the mobile homes. If you want to, on your browser, hit F11 on your keyboard and it'll make it full screen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, then you get a little bit more screen there too. Get rid of the mini bar. House, house, house. Good.
Ooh, Oak House.
House.
Sorry, didn't mean to click.
Mobile home. Delete.
Goodbye.
Okay. House. House. Mobile home. We can delete you now because we have enough comps. Okay. What's that one down at the bottom? The active one? That's that crappy. Yeah. Let's get rid of that one. Crappy mobile home in really bad condition. Outlier, we don't want it in our report. It's
How do you
skewing our
really
data.
feel about it?
Skewing our data. We don't want it to skew our data. Okay, so I think we've gotten all the mobile homes out, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So now you can see where our house sits on the chart, kind of in that middle bracket. So that's the best selling chart, is like where that line is. That's kind of where it's best to sell. And then if you start getting into the other spaces is where it's less likely to sell for those higher prices. Now, keeping in mind, we're in a seller's market. So right now I'm taking this as this is our list price, and then the market's going to take it wherever it's going to take it. So up right above this chart, there are some tabs there. It says chart, analytics, map, list, notes, report. So just kind of be aware of that. We're going to scroll down though first below this little chart. So this is kind of cool. So see, now you put that picture in earlier to set it up. So now when you show them this report, it'll have the picture of their house in there, and that looks pretty fancy. So what we're seeing here, cmaIQ estimated market value is somewhere between 390 and 406, assuming everything is pretty standard compared to the other ones. Now, if you've got some variance on your house that makes it like the most amazing house on the block, it's the best update or it's the best layout or sites, like if you're working in a subdivision and you have a creek lot or something like that, you can slide these little stars across, so you can add stars to each of these categories or decrease stars. If you have a house that's in bad shape, you can decrease the stars. See how it moved it, and it moves the value. So I typically tend to leave the stars alone unless I know for a fact that like this house is really that much better than all the other comps. So
And
in
this
this
is,
case, click it back on the 3 stars because I think the comps are pretty good comps. They're pretty similar. You have to click on the actual 3rd star to get it to reset.
okay, got it.
Okay. Um, Now, in a normal market where we've got, you know, a year's worth of data, you can kind of play with that seasonality date to see when the listing date would be. So if you're waiting to sell it in June, it might factor in more data based on historical data and stuff like that. But right now we kind of ignored that. So we're kind of looking at really just recent sales. So seasonality, we know it's coming up on summer. We know the market's going to get hotter in the summer. Yes, we get it. Right now we're in a seller's market. So what's happening right now, because that's trying to figure out too what appraisers are going to be looking for. So these are the comps that an appraiser is going to be looking for. And, you know, you can use this report to also put in your appraiser packet when the appraiser is going to go out there for the appraisal appointment. So this is the bottom of this page. Go back up to the top where it has the different tabs. So on the second tab, it says analytics. So this just shows you how the data is figured and the seasonality adjustment is still kind of figuring that stuff in. So like it's suggesting that you list somewhere between 393 and 409. So whenever I go talk to a seller, I don't tell them, yeah, Mr. Seller, I think your house is worth 402. I tell them my data is showing me that houses similar to yours are selling somewhere between 393 and 409. Where on that timeline or on that, you know, that line of prices, where in that range do you think your house falls? And then let's talk through that. And then if you scroll down, it will show you some charts here. So the chart on the left is the probability of sale. Scroll down just a tiny bit more so we can see the data on the bottom. So that left chart with that sliding scale says that if you list it at 370, you have a 100% chance of selling it. If you list it at 464, you have almost 0% chance of selling it. Okay. And then
I
the,
like that.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It helps explain to them, like, you know, there's kind of this, you know, supply and demand thing, you know, you price yourself out of the market, you're not going to get any buyers. And that middle chart kind of pulls these two charts together, the middle table. The chart on the left is days on market. So again, if you price it low, you're going to have almost 0 days on market. It's going to go fast. If you price it too high at 464, it thinks you're going to sit on the market forever.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
kind of
I
helps
like
show
this.
them the how that price range works. Now it does say up there in that table that was up above it, it does say, you know, days on market looks like it's about 12. Now that's probably including November and December when it was a little bit slower. So it's getting a little bit higher. Right now things are flying pretty quickly, but this is also out in Caddo Mills. So it's possible that it goes a little bit slower. Sales price to list price, you know, looks like sellers are, you know, pretty much getting what they're asking for.
It does.
The third tab up there at the top shows the map, so you can just see where the comps are. If they want to see them. The fourth tab is the list of properties, so you can just see literally just the data.
Maybe.
I think you have to, I don't know why it's not just showing it to you. Click on each of the tabs, just click on active and then pending and then close, and you can see each category. Should. There you go. Oh, maybe we didn't have any active because we took out the one active because it was that crappy trailer that wasn't.
You love so much, yes.
So everything else is pending. That's why we have no data on that tab. Okay. And then the next one is notes. This just explains what some of those topics mean, like the seasonality adjustment. This is just so you can help have better information about what you're explaining to them. And then the last tab says report. So what I have been doing is when I'm talking to them is I show them this screen, I go to this report because you can scroll through the whole thing and see all of the information there. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. It's got all of the whole bit with all the data, all the charts, all the list of properties and everything is in there. So one thing I have found is that there's a thing in there up at the top that says presentation. I personally don't like it because I don't think it's formatted nicely. um, I just, it just kind of stretches out the page weird and it does some kind of funky stuff. So I tend to just ignore that. When I'm going to send somebody a cmaIQ, I will hit print and then I save it to a PDF. So right there where it says your printer type, click save as PDF. And then when you scroll down, you'll see all of the data in this report. And it's a pretty nice looking report. And
You
so
know
then
what? This is one of the easiest CMA programs I think I've used
yeah, I know.
in a very long time. And I
Yeah,
like it, and it's easy to understand. It makes sense. It's great for visual people. It's great for the number of people.
right.
This is fun. I like this.
Yes, yes. I mean, literally, this actually got me a listing that I had in November. The guy picked me after interviewing 6 other people. He picked me because of this. So it does work. So you can just click save and you can save it on your computer. It'll save the PDF. You can email it to him. Um, you know, I know you've been like already talking to him, so you're not in the middle of like the presentation part of it. But if you were standing at somebody's house, I would just have it on this report page and I would just kind of walk through. Like I do all the data entry and everything, all the research side of it that we just did. I do
Mhm.
that before I go to the house. And then I have my computer pulled up and I use my cell phone as a little hotspot so I don't have to try to figure out how to get internet on my computer. So I have my cell phone as the Wi-Fi hotspot for my computer. And then I just pull this up and I just show them the report, show them the houses, show them what's, you know, what's similar, what we're using as comps and things like that, just so they can see it, show them the charts, see if you price it too high, it's not going to sell. If you price it too high, it's going to take forever to sell, you know, all those
Mhm.
different charts and things like that, and just walk them through it and just be their advisor.
Now, do you give them a copy of this or do you not? Because I've heard pros and cons for both.
So once we go for the listing appointment and we go into the process and we're going to do a listing agreement, as part of signing the listing agreement, then I will give them a copy of it because they have signed up with me. But in my own opinion, I'm not going to give them my numbers and give them my fancy report unless they're signing up with me, because they're just going to go find Susie Q down the street that, you know, Sarah recommended them, and they're going to take my numbers and say, look, well, you know, I know you said it was 475, but you know, they're saying that this, and they're like, oh, that's a cool report, blah, blah, blah. And then they go run with my numbers. It's like, no, that was my work.
How do you
So
address it where they say, can I have a copy of this? I want to think about it, but just give me this so I can look at it again.
to say, you know, it's a computer thing, but when we go to the next step and we sign a listing agreement, I will give you a copy of it. But
Oh,
really the thing to factor in mind is you know, where the range that we just talked about, you guys can set the price. Y'all get to control that. I'll price it at whatever you want it to be priced at. But I just want to share with you, this is what the numbers are saying to support those prices, because we've got several things to factor in. Number one, are there buyers that want to buy it at that price? And number two, can the appraisers for the buyers who are getting a loan, are they going to be able to match these numbers? So you kind of have to have a sales price that's supported by, you know, sales data. Otherwise, the appraisal is going to come in low, and then you're going to have to come back and renegotiate anyways, because that buyer's not going to be able to, you know, afford to buy this house. So I just kind of go and I explain to them some of that information and educate them a little bit, and they go, wow, she really knows her stuff. And just use it as a talking point tool.
Mhm.
The actual report itself, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're not going to go like look at these houses and drive around and go find them. I mean, just say, what we've taken away from it is this is the range, and then we'll work from there. And if you want to price it at the high end, we can start at the high end and see where it goes, and just know that we will quickly want to reduce it so we don't miss the market, because once you get too long on the market, then you have kind of a stigma against you that why isn't this house selling? You know,
Yeah.
every other house goes off the market in 2 days. This one's been on the market for 4 days. Why is that? I'm kind of joking about that, but in all seriousness, if you have, if you're sitting at a super high end price for a month, then it's like, why doesn't anybody want to buy this house? Is it broken? Does it have foundation issues? What's wrong with it? That's what the buyers are thinking. So it doesn't show up in all the news feeds and stuff like that. So you want to try to keep your pricing strategy, pretty clean, and no, I will list it at whatever you instruct me to list at, because it's your house, and I will do whatever you want. Just know that my data is showing this. And so we need to have a pricing strategy that does support that, to make sure that we are not missing our window. And that's where you become the trusted advisor.
Sounds good. I just needed to know what your argument would be for not giving a copy of the report,
Mhm.
which I like because I have had my CMAs used against me just once. It only took one time for me to learn,
Yeah,
but then it was kind of difficult for me to combat that argument when they wanted a copy of it.
right.
So,
I just kind of move away from the question and just go back to the data, and my program, how I'm going to sell your house, my value that I'm going to bring to you, um, and my expert advice, because I'm going in there as your trusted advisor, and I have all this information, and I'm going to represent you the best. And for an agent who's newer, who doesn't have a lot of production, you may not have, like, I say, I've been in the business 20 years and I can like lean on that pretty heavily. But for somebody who's newer, you say, look, I've got, me and my partner is, going to be all over your property. We're going to be, really, really taking great care of you. Um, sh- you know, 'Cause, oftentimes, I mean, sometimes people don't know, like if people ask, a lot of times, like new agents are like, oh my God, they're going to figure out how long I've been in the business and that I've only had my license for 6 months or whatever, what am I going to do? And it's like, first of all, they're not often going to ask you that, how long have you been in the business? But if they do, and they want to know how many houses you've sold or something like that, like just tell them, like, look, this is my first listing, but I don't have so much business that I'm too busy for you. So I'm going to be all over your house selling it like you wouldn't believe. You're going to get amazing customer service from me, and you'll have my full undivided attention. And also, my partner has been in the business for over 20 years. And so, she works very closely with me. So we'll be working together. And so you're really going to get two realtors for the price of one, and so you're never going to be without excellent care. You are in really, really good hands.
you know what? And I remember when I was brand new, I had that conversation with about four different people, and they liked the honesty because they talked to other agents that said, oh, yeah, well, I've been doing that. And they were lying, and they could tell that they were lying. It's, and they chose not to work with those people. And even though I was brand new, they chose to work with me simply because I was honest with them.
Yeah, you don't have to BS them.
Uh-uh.
And this is what I've done with some of the agents on our team. When that question does come up, I tell them, just borrow my authority if you need to. Tell them you're going to be partnering with me, and And so they're going to be in very good hands. And, me and my partner will be working with you. And, if you want to set up a meeting with her, I'm happy to do that. Whatever it takes to, get them to feel more comfortable about it. And
Mhm.
just, tell them I've been in the business, for over 20 years and you've got a lot of experience and blah, blah, blah. And, just borrow my authority. I don't mind it because I'm happy to back you up and I probably will be backing you up. So I'm sure I'm going to be talking to them at some point.
Yep.
So it worked out pretty well.
Well, I'm gonna drum up a few more houses to play with the cmaIQ.
Good deal. Very good.
And the thing is, it's with this one, it actually came out at the value that I thought it should be, but with Matrix, I could not show that's where it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. The visuals in here are really stupendous. I love
They
them.
really are.
All right. Well, go sell some
Woohoo!
houses, girl.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.